everyone, Jack is here again with his Crusader. Thought I'd do this video as a quick update and general sort of how to when I'm actually doing these greater rifts. Yes, I'm by no means the best Crusader out there. I'm still getting used to the build itself. There's been a few gear changes. Noticeably you'll see that I've lost the focus and restraint. I've put a convection of elements instead. I've changed the belt to a string of ears to be more tanky, mainly for melee attacks, so I've lost out on the Blessed of Horn. The reason why I've swapped out for a convection is that then allows me to, on top of having the increased holy damage, because this is a holy orientated build, the Ring of Zodiac, so each blessed hammer that I hit with reduces my cooldowns. Now if I'm reducing the cooldowns of Provoke and Falling Sword, I can use them more often. If I use Provoke more often, I'm creating more Wrath, and you get the idea: more Wrath, more hammers, more cooldown, more Provokes and Falling Swords, more damage reduction, yada yada yada. So if I'm generating Wrath through Provoke, I don't need a generator, so having this belt on, just as Spawns Bliss Hammer, is basically useless, because I'm not using a generator full stop. There's another belt which I believe I put into the cube. Let me just find it. Sacred Harness. Judgment gains the effect of the Deliberate rune. It's cast landing your feet. What that rune is, it's a 40% damage reduction for 6 seconds. So you do 40% on top of 50% that your Falling Sword gives. That's 90% damage reduction. I might try that later on. I'll have to get a new one first, actually, because obviously that's in the cube. Preferably an ancient, because this is a very tanky belt currently equipped. And the reason why I don't want to use a cube for it is Hexing Pants and Miss Yang means basically keep moving. You see my damage has gone from 945 to 1418. Gems have changed. Tagger is back. I'll go on to that in a minute. The Golgot's still there, and the Bane of Trap's the new gem. I've swapped the Bane of Stricken out for the traps because Stricken is 25 to bosses only, whereas Bane of the Stricken is 27%, still to be increased as well, of course, to enemies that are slowed. And if you Falling Swords sort of slows and disorientates enemies, and you've also, when you get the Bane of Traps rank 25, gain an aura that reduces damage, but reduces their speed by 30%. So the Bane of Trapped is a general all-rounder, and I advise it once you get to, unless you're building for slows and things, it's very handy. I prefer it over the Stricken. Maybe Stricken comes more powerful at a high level, but for now, Bane of the Trapped. I've lost the Gizzard, and that's lost its place in the Taeguk. With this build, not having a generator and Provoke as a generator, with the reduced cooldowns, you can literally keep Blessed Hammer going at all times. Therefore, this stack will never drop off, or it shouldn't drop off. And if it does, it doesn't take very long to climb back up there. So that increases your damage quite phenomenally, and your armor as well. You always like to be tanky. And when I say tanky, yes, melee hits I can deal with. The poisons and holy arcane and all of that, they're a little bit tougher to deal with. It's always nice when I got Akarat's up and a Falling Sword, but still I'm planning on putting this gem, once I rank it up to its appropriate level, in place of the Golgok. We'll see how that goes. I don't know what it'd be like without the 15% cooldown reduction per, but I should think that that's nil and void, given that I've got the Zodiac and I'm pumping out so many Blessed Hammers. So that's basically it. I'll that's this gem's probably handy for the later rifts where they hit a lot harder. Going back to not having a generator, that means I can have an extra skill in. I put iron skin because once again, reduce your damage, and you can then be more able to inflict damage on them, possibly killing them, hopefully killing them. To increase my tankiness, this is for long term, I'm thinking possibly remove holy cores and put on vigilant, once again reducing this non-physical damage. Physical damage is easier to mitigate because you're up there, you've got falling sword procced and all of this, whereas the non-physical, that's the one that's probably going to kill you. Getting this ring higher will be my next job, this gem rather. The Bane of the Trap will be handy to keep levelling, but I think as this is still only rank 25 and I can now maintain the stacks, I think in a previous video I said that I had trouble keep maintaining the stacks, so I sort of dismissed it and put it back in the bank. Now that I've got this build, I can maintain them, so I'm definitely going to level that because it's always handy. You'll also, while we're here, you got restraint, and in the previous videos I did have focus on as well, which meant that resource generating increased by 50% and resource spending increased my damage by 50%. That's 100% in total. But now that I don't have a generator, I've lost 50% of that damage. So I thought, well, I might as well get rid of all of it. I could theoretically keep on focus and only have 50% damage increase. However, once I get the tagging up to a respectable level, I'll be doing more than that 50% damage reduction. But the synergy between convection of elements, preferably Unity, I've got to get Unity, and the Zodiac ring just means that you can constantly fire out your abilities. So provoke is up 100% of the time, which also decreases their attack speed, increasing your survivability. Also Bane of the Trapped. More falling swords, because once again splits damage by 50%. Valor is up about 75% of the time. So you know that's a lot of damage going out. Akarat's Champion is a lovely cooldown. That gets its cooldown lowered when everything else is not on cooldown and just still hitting. So you know that's up, you know, about 50% of the time, and you think for the other 50% is up for what, 30. So you know there's not long before it's up again and usable for the next elite pack, say. The idea with this build is just quickly is you want to falling sword in, hammer, provoke, hammer. Then your falling sword will be off cooldown again, falling sword, provoke, hammer. There's a rhythm to it. I'm still working that rhythm out. I'm sure it will just fit into place. But like I was saying, it's provoke, sword, hammer, provoke, hammer, sword, hammer. Yeah, you get the point. It's quite spammy, but it works. I'll try and do the tougher rifts, 51, 52, try and get my aim in 52, and I'll upload that as and when it's done. If I see anything new, such as if I get a Unity, we all know what Unity does, and if not, you put it to follower can't die if it's got a appropriate relic, and that splits your damage in half, so it makes you know, you can push the higher rifts. So hopefully I'll get 2 of those, sort that out. But for now, this is where I'm building. And you know, you always got to like a transmog. I've gone for the angelic form again this time, as opposed to the demonic in my greater of 50. So thank you very much for listening. I'll keep you posted. Hope this is helpful. Hope it helps the new sort of high-end Crusaders that are just coming up and just getting the gear.